Okay, so basically, Census is an NGO, and we have two sides to our functioning. One side is where we help JE aspirants with their stuff. We conduct certain examinations. We conduct webinars such as this. We also give advice on what kind of branches that can be taken up. You can get more information on our website, but that is one side. We help JE aspirants achieve whatever dreams that they have because the team members at Census have experience in the JE field. So that's one side, and the other side is whatever fund we get out of the provision of these services, we invest that into the benefit of the society. For example, we conducted a COVID hackathon in which more than 800 people participated from all over India. They ideated on what kind of solutions can be made for COVID. Then another example would be we are collaborating with a particular medical college in distributing free medicine to people who are in need. So that's a societal benefit kind of side of Tensors. So these are the two sides that we are trying to maintain in harmony. So I guess that gives you a brief intro of what we do at Tensors. So I invite Anfas to now introduce our guest Aravind so that we can kick off our webinar. Anfas?
Yeah, yeah, guys. So our speaker's name is Arvind. He's a mechanical engineering graduate from IIT Madras. He has been. You guys might have heard about honors degree program. So Arvind is graduated with honors degree. He has explored most of what the mechanical department has to offer. He has worked on research projects under professors, interned at automobile companies and at FMCGs. He's done a few math and coding work as well. He has won numerous hackathons. He currently works as a fraud analytics at Abinbev, a global market leader in beverages. So I would like to invite Arvind to give us a brief idea about the mechanical engineering department.
Hi everyone. Am I audible?
Yeah, you are.
Yeah. So I mean, I'll just keep this very brief. I'd written down a few things about mechanical. So like the Met department at IITM is like primarily one of the best in the country, maybe second to like Delhi, but yeah, that's it. So it offers a lot of opportunities, whether you're looking for higher studies or if you're like planning on getting a job right after college. So I'll break down the benefits of mechanical in a way. So the mechanical department is huge. Like it's like 150 students in a batch. At least when I joined, I don't know if it has increased in any way. So this means you meet a lot of people, you network a lot, and there will be people who are interested in various things within the department. So in a way, it's a way to discover what you actually want to do. I mean, you're 18 years old or 17 years old right now, and you might not really know what you like to do. So in a way, meeting more people helps you figure out what you want to do. And also the faculty at IITM, or at least in the MEC department, are pretty nice, friendly. They're also willing to take up students for their product projects as undergraduate, research students in a way. Before we head on to like the different opportunities which IITM provides, you primarily need to realize that the old IIT tag is just so that you can network with people and meet people. Like surround yourself with people who are better than you or who are really good at something, and in a way improve yourself. So, with regards to higher studies, mechanical engineering is mostly in design, manufacturing, thermal, applied mechanics, and biomedical engineering. There are professors who do very solid research work in all of these areas. You can approach them, you can work on projects under them, publish papers, and get their recommendations, go for foreign internships, scholarship programs, and all that. And at the end of this, you can apply for master's degrees in US universities. There are so many people from my batch who are going to Stanford, Caltech, University of Pennsylvania. Like, there are people all over the world, at least at this point. So that's one aspect, like the higher studies aspect. And then when we come to placements, well, it's good. I mean, it depends on what you're looking for. For example, if you are hellbound that you want a coding job at Google or maybe Microsoft, then I'm not sure if mechanical would open. At least right now, because of the interdisciplinary dual degree program, there are avenues where certain companies might open, but like for core tech giant, for like core CS tech giant companies, CS or Elec would be a better choice. But for non-core things like fast-moving consumer goods or banking, like working at a bank, consulting, uh, the brands doesn't really matter. If we're talking about core mechanical aspects, for example, automobile and manufacturing, yes, there are avenues for you to get into it, but more often than not, these companies do require a master's degree as well. So you might have to take up a dual degree. You might have to opt for a master's degree within IITM to actually get to sit with these companies. But there are exceptions to all of these. And also there's this other factor that like these core mechanical companies might not pay as much as these non-core companies. Yeah, that would be like the overall crux of what mechanical offers. If you have anything that you have to ask, please do ask. And also make it a thing to try and maintain a good CGPA. Like a lot of people, so this is like the main crux of mechanical. Like if you are in mechanical and you do have a good grade point, then the opportunities are plenty. And this applies to like almost all the departments. Yeah. Do you all want to ask anything?
So I'll go through some fundamental FAQ that most people might have.
Yeah.
So what kind of subjects are mainly studied in mechanical? So what kind of people with what kind of interests are most likely to benefit from mechanical?
Well, that's the thing. You can do whatever you want in a way. Like the core courses, like for the first 2 years, you will have certain core courses that you have to do, like heat transfer, control systems, and all that. But at the end of that, you get to choose what elective you want to do, and pretty much almost all the electives are open. For example, if you are interested in machine learning or robotics or I don't know, biomechatronics maybe, there are professors who do that and there are courses offered by these professors. You can enroll for them. So all of that is basically your choice. I see some messages popping up in the chat. Should I address these or would you be going through yourself?
I'll filter the questions and ask you and rephrase the questions so that you can answer them more efficiently. So another popular question that might be confusing all the girls who are understandably might be confusing all the girls is
so
what mechanical might be. So
so mechanical, it is not exactly the same as your high school, your +1, +2 mechanics. Like it is there, but to a much, it's different in a way that it's mostly about design and solving bigger problems. If you're like, looking for instant gratification by just solving a small puzzle, that's not there. It'll be more elaborate problems for which you will need understanding of physics and basic math. Yeah. And also like there are other aspects like robotics where you go in via, you focus on something like you try out projects like, related to coding and whatnot, like robot operating system and all that. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Arun, for that. And to address the popular question in chat, there is zero need to worry about the gender ratio in any branch anywhere. See, that does not matter. If you like mechanical, if you have a rank for mechanical, it's highly recommended that you go for mechanical. Being in mechanical, me and Aravind, I think he can agree with me in saying that none of the girls have any problem in handling the branch. And also, the recent years, all the IITs are accommodating girls into all the branches through supernumerary seats. So there's no need to worry about that. So another question. So Aravind, what are the fundamental differences in a student who joins for BTech and a student who joins for dual?
Is dual degree still there? Okay, so what happens for dual degree students is that at the end of your 5th semester, you have, I think at the end of your 5th semester, you have to start taking up courses which are specializing into that, degree. For example, if you're doing a dual degree in manufacturing, there are certain electives which you have to choose within manufacturing so that you get your MTech degree in manufacturing. Is that clear enough?
Could you talk about the placement prospects that might be there for someone who took BTech and someone who decided to go for dual or MTech?
Okay, so with regards to placements in core mechanical related companies, Bajaj and Jaguar hire. They're both day one companies and they hire. But then they don't have any MTech dual degree restrictions. But then there are other companies like Mercedes Benz and Rolls Royce, which come on later days, but they specifically look for dual degrees. They prefer dual degrees in a way. But do bear in mind, these are not, I mean, compared to like non-core companies, these aren't companies which pay as much, and these will most probably be entry-level jobs. I mean, entry-level testing level jobs, to the best of my knowledge. But do take this with a pinch of salt because I deviated towards the end towards more non-related things.
Okay. So another thing is, if a student is interested in going for higher studies, like suppose in the third year, what do you think his prospects are?
Oh yes, there are. I mean, I think almost 15 to 20 people went for foreign internships. So these are people who who really like to do mechanical. So they at the end of their first year, or somewhere during their second year, they would approach a professor, tell them that they are interested in the sort of work they're doing, and they will start working on projects under them. And by the end of their by the starting of their third year, they would have done some legit research work, and they apply for scholarships. They apply for scholarships like GAD, MITAX, CHAPAC, and they get accepted. They attend all these foreign internships. For example, I have a friend who went to RWTH Aachen, Germany, to do his internship, and right now he's at Caltech.
Okay.
He's doing his PhD.
So basically, like higher studies prospects are actually rich in the
higher studies prospects are very high in mechanical related fields. There are also people who pivot into other streams as well, but that is true for almost every other branch.
Yeah. Okay. So how much of the syllabus do you think is common for mechanical engineering and maybe other branches like CS and electrical throughout the 4-year period?
Throughout the 4-year period, I would say mostly only the first year courses. Outside of that, it is purely based on what electives you choose.
Okay.
The core curriculum courses in mechanical engineering are manufacturing technology, heat transfer, measurement, instrumentation control. There are no courses like data structures and algorithms offered inside mechanical department. All of those you'll have to choose as electives, and there are many people who do that too.
Okay. So going in the same direction, if someone who chooses mechanical engineering as a backup academic branch, what do you think his prospects are in going into something like the IT sector or software development sector and stuff like that?
Okay, so if you're talking IT and software development, the companies which come for hiring, some of them prefer only CS and electrical students. Some of them are open to all the branches. So I would say, let's say Microsoft, for example. Microsoft is open only for computer science and electrical students, but because of the interdisciplinary dual degree in data science, I think they are opening for mechanical, but I wouldn't really bank on that. But there are other companies like, for example, Salesforce. They have their developer profiles, and for that, it is open to almost every department. So if it is opening for mechanical engineering, it would most probably open for all the other departments.
Okay. So another question is, given the current situations, like what are the demands for a mechanical core placement? So I suggest you be honest about this one because yeah. So a person who
A
wants to go
core
for
mechanical place.
core mechanical person, yeah.
Okay, a core. Okay, by core mechanical placement, I am hoping this is automobile and not fast-moving consumer goods. Automobile or manufacturing, right?
You could talk about both.
Okay, fast-moving consumer goods. The hiring. I mean, every year they hire around 10 to 12 students, I believe. No, I think lesser. I'm not sure. I don't have the exact number. But the FMCG hiring is going strong. Uh, for automobiles, it is hard. I mean, there aren't a lot of opportunities available in India. The R&D part for automobiles is, I mean, I think the best which comes is Bajaj R&D.
Oh,
Uh, yeah. So, for example, like Jaguar also, it is mostly a mostly an IT related job. I mean, it's more of a programming related job, not exactly designing and all that. Aether also comes to hire, but I think they rescinded their notes. Anyway, Aether also comes to hire, but anyway, the prospects of a mechanical engineering beta graduate directly going into a core mechanical company and working is kind of low. I mean, for that, I mean, it's just the same. I mean, there isn't any difference which an IIT makes.
okay, okay. That
For that, you will need a master's degree, at least to get into more specialized fields, a master's or maybe a PhD even.
uh-huh. So if someone wants to get into robotics, like there is electrical going via electrical, and then you talked about mechatronics through mech. So what do you think that direction should be?
Well, it depends on what aspect of robotics you're looking into. I mean, for robotics, at least both sides are needed, right? Someone needs to understand how the motion works and all that. So there are areas like control systems, which deals mostly with sensors, measurement, instrumentation, and all that. So those are actually mechanical related fields, and there are professors who work on that. So even if you are joining mechanical engineering, that avenue is there. But then on the electrical, I mean, but then you won't be focusing on things like the circuits. So for that, you will actually be doing projects. You will be doing that on your own. I am not sure if there are direct courses out there. But you should also realize that for higher studies, most of your profile depends on your statement of purpose and the things that you do in INSTI. So even if you are in mechanical, if you are interested in robotics, there are clubs which do robotics and there are also professors who work on it. You can always approach them and work on things there. Work on
Uh-huh.
things that way.
Yeah, that makes sense. So
Your
what?
degree in mechanical engineering won't be a big hindrance. But I believe electrical would be a better choice if you are more interested into the programming side of things.
Okay, okay. So yeah, that makes sense. And another thing I'm noticing is people are not educated about what a core direction and what non-core means, not only for mechanical, for any branch. So could you discuss what core and non-core actually means?
Okay, so core is mostly what your coursework is about. For example, you're a mechanical engineering graduate. You wanna, you go into like traditional mechanical streams. For example, you completed your mechanical engineering and you started working at Toyota, for example. That is core. And to an extent, fast-moving consumer good companies like Hindustan Unilever, Procter and Gamble, ITC. These are all companies which manufacture goods. For example, soaps, shaving creams, and all that. So they hire mechanical engineers because we have courses which which teach us about automation and how a factory supply chain works in a way. So they hire us too. So they are also core, but to an extent, not exactly engineering kind of core, but in a way, application. These are core fields. The other things are non-core. For example, these are companies who want to hire smart people, and your IIT tag in a way qualifies you as smart. So, for example, I'm working on fraud analytics. It has, to be honest, it has nothing to do with the coursework I've done. I did a few courses in numerical methods, and also on learning, and these are the things which I apply in my work. So they aren't exactly, my mechanical engineering degree does not help me with it. Non-core jobs also can also mean things like you know strategy and management consulting. These are also roles, but these are completely managerial and might not have anything to do with engineering or math in any way. Business strategy, operations roles. There are also product manager roles. These are people who associate product manager roles. These are people who, in a way, are like a CEO of a product. For example, let's say there is Microsoft Teams, someone who manages Microsoft Teams, kind of like that. So these are non-core related. These are non-core jobs. They are not related to mechanical engineering in a direct way, or in any way for that matter.
Okay, okay. Yeah, that kind of went through what core and non-core actually means. So I think we went through all the fundamental questions about mechanical engineering, and it was a really informative webinar. So thank you, Arvind, for that.
Yeah,
So,
and yeah, that would be good. And regardless of what you do, try to maintain a good CGPA.
yeah, that's a popular tip that we always give all the freshies, whether in IITs or NITs. It's really important to keep up your CGPA, whichever branch you are in. So I thank Arvind for joining us for this webinar. I'll have some closing remarks in general about tensors and to all the participants, and we'll end the meeting after that. So
All right, guys. Best of luck.
thank you,
I
Arvind.
will drop off.
Okay. So guys, that was Arvind who talked about mechanical engineering as a whole, and you might be having more doubts about which comparisons between certain branches or what kind of a field you might be more you might be having more aptitude for. So for that, we suggest going to our website, which has been posted in chat, where you can avail a personal consultant for you who will analyze what all subjects that you know or what all interests that you have, which rank you have, what all closing ranks there are in different institutes, and we'll be able to analyze and help you with your process. We'll also be advising you on what all documents are needed for the JOSA registration, and we'll be helping you along that lines as well. So for this, we charge a very nominal fund of around, you'll be going to the website and seeing, and that is only for the purpose of being a fundraiser for our NGO. So your money is guaranteed to go for a good cause. So okay, so I'd like to use this opportunity to give you some advice on what the structure of an engineering student is after going into the college. I'm noticing that we've been having a common audience throughout all these webinars. So for all of you guys, I'll just give you an introduction to what engineering study is in a college in general, not just NITs, IITs, whatever. So in the beginning, you choose a branch. You go into that branch, and in the first 1 year or 1.5 year, all of you will be studying the same subjects. Everyone will be studying fundamentals of mathematics, the beginning of physics, and everything like that, atomic physics and chemistry, subjects like these will be common to all branches. And towards the end of the second year and the beginning of the third year, every student will be going into their own branch ka subjects. For example, mechanical engineering will be going towards thermodynamics or systems design, stuff like that, while an ED student may be going into design and whatever is going into their branch. And naval ocean engineering student may be going into shipbuilding and stuff like that. So towards the end of the second year, everyone will be splitting into their own branches. Then in the beginning of the third year, that's when the interns happen. So each of the students, according to their interests, will apply to different companies, and they will be going into certain interns of their choice. That's where they check whether what they have decided to go for is a good direction for them, and that will give them an advice or an idea about how they want to go towards the future. So throughout the third year, you'll be seriously thinking about what kind of a placement you want, what direction you want your career to be. And in most cases, there are two directions. Number one, core. Number two, non-core. What core means is that you'll be going into what your course title says. For example, a mechanical engineer might be going into the automobile sector, or might be going into fast moving consumer goods. Consumer goods example is that whatever you see in the supermarkets, those are consumer goods. Their production and distribution. Those are kind of stuff that goes into core. Then non-core. that would be companies that are looking for exclusively smart people. For example, coding or software development and front-end development of websites and stuff like this. Those companies, and there might be consulting companies as well. These are non-core companies. So these are the two directions. And at the end of the fourth year, through your placements, you will be going into whichever company you have. And a subset of these people will be going into higher studies. So I hope you got a general direction as to how life in college is once you get into an IIT, an NIT, or whichever engineering college you have. So that's a general direction. And for this, it's very important that you make the right choice as right as you go into the college. And that's why we have come up with the consultation program, the link to which has been posted in the chat. And I advise everyone to go through our website and decide whether or not you want to join. I highly suggest that you do join. So I think that's it for this webinar. I thank everyone for joining and having the patience to listen to whatever our members have to say. So yes, thank you guys, and we'll be seeing you for the future meetings, the updates of which we'll be presenting in the WhatsApp groups as well. If you have any doubts, just DM us or ask in the group. That's all. Thank you.
Okay, yeah. Also, our next session will be mostly by 4:30. If there's any session before that, we'll inform you. Since our speakers are really busy because they are all working from home, the timing will be informed. Anyway, the time will be informed prior to you, but if there's any change in the schedule, we'll inform you. Also, you can go to our website to know more about the one-on-one counseling, because all the speakers may not have an idea about how to compare between the branches. What we at Tensys do is that we get information from each branch of all colleges, and we have compared it together so that our consultants will be able to compare between various things and tell you. And if you are more interested in to come to IIT Madras, maybe you could even join us at Tensys. All right. Okay, guys, take care. It was nice meeting you all.